Hello, this is my final presentation for my American Indian Studies 101 class. My name is Bailey Carpenter, and I did my presentation on Joe Rainey and how he creates something called fusion music. As I said before, I'm presenting on Joe Rainey, and he is a Native American artist who has an album called Ninetta, and I apologize for my pronunciation of that because I know it's definitely wrong, but in my research, I couldn't find a proper pronunciation on how to say it in English. But in this album, he combines traditional powwow vocals and electric music together. And for the electric music, it is what you think of when you think of electric music, but it is also contemporary genres and more modern day music that he does also layer together. And this experimental mix of genres is what's called fusion music. And with his music, he wants to reclaim how Indigenous voices are heard, and he uses his music as a form of storytelling. And with his work, he definitely breaks the genre boundaries, but also stays true to what the values of Indigenous music are and keeps those traditional values as well. For background information, Joe Rainey is a part of the Red Lake Nation Ojibwe, and on this slide, that first picture on the far left is a picture of him singing, and the middle picture is what the Red Lake Nation Ojibwe flag is. And he is an artist from Minneapolis, and I decided to choose him as my focus because I wanted to choose an artist that was from somewhere near Eau Claire. And when Joe was a teenager, he started to record music when he went to the powwows. He would record videos, and he later became known for this because it was kind of a performance he would do. And he did release his album Ninetta in 2022 with producer Andrew Broder, which he is the man in the picture on the far right. And Andrew is a producer out of the Twin Cities. And those two actually received a lot of recognition for this album because it was an unheard of mix between the traditional native music and electric music. And Ninetta is actually an Ojibwe word, but when it's translated to English, it means just me. And he chose this as a way to show that it was a part of his identity, that it was just him and his music in the way that he wanted to create things. For context and function, in Joe's music, you'll hear a mix of old music and new music. You'll hear powwow vocals and the electronic music, and he does this to create his own genre of contemporary music. And the way he puts his songs together, he wants to tell a story. He wants to create a space where you can learn information about Native Americans, or where you can learn about the trauma or the grief that the Native community has been through. The dictionary description of the word vocable is a reference to form rather than meaning, and he uses vocables in his music all the time, and that's what you will normally hear when you listen to traditional native music. That is what you will hear in like powwows, and that's what that type of sound is called, is a vocable. And he really wanted to create his own type of music while staying authentic to like his Ojibwe and Red Lake Nation roots. And that's how he came into fusion music, because he could mix past and present together. Joe's target audience was mainly youth and young adults, but he really wanted to be able to teach the younger generation the hardships of the Native American culture and where their history was. And it wasn't made for just Native Americans, but also for anyone on the outside to help them understand Native music and the culture, and he wanted it to be a space for everyone. And he wanted to use his music to change the stereotypes of what people believed Native American music to be. He also wanted his music to be a reflection of where he came from and wanted to incorporate his Native American side with his Twin Cities city kid side. And for the course themes, I chose um, survivance, identity, and resistance because I believe that these resonate with Joe and his music. I chose identity because fusion music is the way that he would show who he is and his interest as a native person, and the mix of genres that he used is unique to him and how he expresses his music. For Survivance, I chose this theme because he's an active member within the Native American community and pushes the younger generation of Native kids to understand their culture, where they came from, and what their history is. And he uses the music to appeal to the younger crowd and to keep them interested in their heritage. And lastly, I did choose resistance, and I picked this because Joe's challenging the stereotypes that is so heavily surrounded around Native American music. And for the last slide, Joe uses his music and his album Ninetta to connect with past events and how Native American life is today. He wants to keep the Native American culture alive through his music, through the various different forms of music, and that's how he came down to fusion music. And he is changing the way that people think of indigenous music because it's so heavily stereotyped, and he's doing it to inspire his audience to understand the Native American culture. And I also included two links at the very bottom of his music, and just so you can hear it and understand more of what I'm talking about, because it is hard to understand what I'm saying if you don't actually want, or if you can't actually understand the words that I'm putting together. But Joe really wanted to change the stereotypes that were surrounding Native American music, and that was his main goal throughout everything, and wanted it to be well known not just by the Native community, but also to everyone on the outside.